Okay, so this is going to be my first AV Famicom install, and I'm really curious how my template's going to hold up here. Yikes. That is right on some of that lettering. That's too bad, but that's where it's got to go. One of the things I did not explore very well in the top loaders that I just did was what's going to happen if the front side of the kit, more specifically the HDMI connector, if it pops up, because I actually did have one popped up a little bit after I'd put it all together. It wasn't lined up with my outside hole very well, and I could see down in there, and I could see the PCB wasn't flush against the base. So I just got in there with a little screwdriver or whatever and just popped it down. However, it got me to thinking, what if that thing comes up and touches any of these pins around here? Now see, there's 5 volts right there on that pin right here, and it goes straight over to here. That's the 5-volt pin on 7805. 7805 won't be in there, but there will be 5 volts on that rail. You know, and plus there's audio and composite and all that stuff over there, so that makes me concerned. My concerns are a little more alleviated about it touching any of the input voltage pins, though. And let's see, on the US top loader board, I don't believe there is too much to worry about. Yeah, on the US top loader board, if it comes up, it's going to be right in here. That is all ground plane. So yeah, there's no worry there. But on the AV Famicom, well, you know what? Come to think about it, it won't be. Let's see, those 2 holes. Yeah, actually, yeah, there still is some worry because those 2 holes will line up with the mount holes just like that. So yeah, there's clear and present danger right there of the HDMI connector coming up. Oh, it is close. It actually looks like it will not. If I'm looking at this right, if I'm lining up the holes just perfectly, it does not look like it will. That's a huge relief. So I'm going to say for now we're probably not going to have to worry about that. That's good. I'm just going to go ahead with the installation just like we did with the top loaders. I don't really see anything glaring at me just yet. Looks like maybe, let's see, I think the C5 right here, that was a composite video cap, which I were planning on placing all the caps, so I think it might have to get laid over so the interposers don't hit it. I don't know. I think the connectors will come off this side, so I think they're extended off that way, so I might have to lay that down, but other than that, I think we're okay. Also, an obvious concern is the 2 bolts that hold down the multi-out go into those posts, but of course our kit straddles those posts, so no problem. Excellent. Okay, so pretty much everything's the same on installation between US top loader and AV Famicom except for caps. We do have the one big main cap, and then right next to it there's a 1 microfarad. I believe that is the 5-volt rail cap. And then we have the reset cap here. It is also a 0.47. And then we have a 220 6.3 volt. That is the composite video cap. And then over here there's 2 more 1 microfarad 50 volts, and these are left and right audio, I believe. So that is the difference between the US top loader. The interposers do not fit on the AV Famicom. They're just too close. Looks like if I if we could have flopped the CPU Speaking of which, I think he does have one that has the, I don't know if the pins are different. Anyway, I've looked at it a couple times here. It just is not going to fit. Looks like they overlap by nothing more than a millimeter. So it looks like we're going to have a special CPU interposer just for the AV Famicom. That's what it's looked like to me. I don't know. I think it's one of the complaints I had originally, that I never understood why he wanted the boards smashed up against each other on the top loader. Let's see, they both offset to where the chip is on this side of the socket, and I was like, well, why don't you put one on this side and one on that side? Now I wish he would have done it. I wish I would have complained a little more, but I don't really ever remember taking an AV Famicom up there for him to measure. I guess we just assumed that they were the same, so well, that's a big letdown. It's too bad. But I think we can just get away with just redoing the CPU interposer so it's offset in the other direction. And then it would be okay, and it would fit just fine. Crap. Okay, so after emailing Kevin about it, he really doesn't want to do a different interposer. And we kept talking about it, and something finally hit me, and I think I may have a workaround right there. I don't know if you can tell, but I actually have put the long headers soldered to the bottom of the CPU interposer and the short headers to the PPU interposer. And I'm hoping there's no fitment issue. Oh, yeah, we're quite a ways away yet. I can see plenty of daylight down there. Makes me wonder why that 105 that I did was hitting so hard. Maybe it's on the US top loaders, the PPU is closer to this rib right here, because I'm pretty sure this part is the same. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was the CPU hitting on the US top loader. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't feel like it's hitting right there. So thankfully we have a quick workaround. The cap, I happen to have these really short, they're fatter round, they're only 100 microfarad caps for the composite cap. I just did it on this one just to hurry up and try it out. The 0.47 microfarad cap there needs to be shoved to the side a little bit. That's easy enough to do. Just heat one of the legs and shove it over that way the ribbon cable can get in through there. But I think that will do it. I'm so hopeful. The PCB does sit just right on the solder balls for the headers on the PPU interposer, but I think it's going to work fine. So I'll finish this up, add my LED and the power wires. I believe our 6-inch ribbon cables will be long enough again, and just make sure it works. Here's a fun one for me. I've never soldered my LED anywhere other than up in here, but it looks like I've got power and ground right here on the cartridge connector, right on the end pins. That makes it extremely convenient to solder to right there. That way I can continue on with my idea of having that wire come right off the side right there. Easy. Looks like another lucky break on the screw. For right there underneath the ribbon cable. Although it doesn't look as easy to kind of bend the ribbon cable up a little bit like that to get it in there. It'll go though, that's good. Okay, I'm breathing a little easier now. The AV Famicom is working. Maybe. I'm seeing some jitters. That's exactly what it's doing. Okay, so to fix that, Kevin is telling me that we need to modify the composite video output circuit of the original composite video circuit. Basically, we're going to feed the base of the original video transistor from the interposer board, and he thinks he's going to redo the interposer board to have a pad up here to tap onto that maybe. So that would be good. And I believe he said it was the inside of R12, which I'll probably have to break out the macro lens for that. Okay, so R12 is right there, and that's the point we're trying to solder to. At this point, I'm just going to desolder the transistor. Kevin said we wanted to be sure that nothing was connected to pin 21 on the motherboard. So I said, should I just lift the base pin and then solder the collector and emitter back down to the board? And he said yes. So obviously we want to be sure which one is the base. The base is connected to pin 21 right here. Looks like it is the bottom one. I'm actually going to go to the outside. Looks like I can solder that down in such a way that it's not touching the original hole for the base. I'll leave it up at an angle. Let's see if I can zoom in on that for you. Be a little difficult to see, but the pin is sticking out right there. And you can see it's kind of soldered at an angle from the board so that that pin's not touching. Okay, so that should be good to go. And then I just need to run a wire from that pin to the inside of that resistor. Looks like I should have got a little bit longer wire, maybe about 3.5 inches long. I mean, it's going to reach to the inside of it, no problem. But just because the ribbon cable makes it stick out so far, I guess I could solder the wire first and then do the ribbon cable. Get my smaller tip on there. Cut the end of that wire off. We don't need all that excess on there. Yay, it still fits. Okay, let's retest. Okay, retest. Good, good, good. Looks perfect. Okay, so now we want to test original composite output. Make sure that still works. Super. So remove the transistor, add one wire. I guess technically if you don't want to use original composite, you don't have to put or solder in that wire, but it looks like you do still need to somehow remove pin 21 from the motherboard or disconnect the base off that transistor, or just remove the transistor, I guess. Well, obviously one last test with it all back together, make sure nothing's screwed up. Looks good. I'll play this game.